Hi, in my today's class, I will take up a text Lord Alfred Tennyson's Ulysses. Today, I will try to expose or explore three important zones or areas of the text Ulysses. They are central idea, number two, important literary devices and poetic devices used in the text, and number three, two important modern approaches. Actually, I would try to explore the text in modern approaches at the end of the session. Let's start. To say about the central idea, actually, I would say that Tennyson, actually, as a time server, makes Ulysses the representative of the ethos of the Victorian era, the sense of the glory of the conquest, the insatiable thirst for the knowledge, a fierce spirit of exploration, and never say die attitude for the lives or towards the life are all that Tennyson's Ulysses spokesperson symbolizes. The moralist in Tennyson drives home the idea that life is action, not contemplation. This is the moral lesson of the text. Yes, actually, here, Tennyson's spokesperson Ulysses preaches the gospel for the work. Actually, he tries to say that, he tries to propagate the idea that dullness, laziness, and inactiveness, actually, idle life we have to shun, we have to give up from the very inertia of our life. And we should resolve to serve, to seek, to find, and not to yield. This is the central idea of the text, basically, try to realize. Number two, what are the literary devices used in the text Ulysses? They are consonance, assonance, alliteration, enjambment, imagery, personification, metaphor. If we try to look into the uses of them, as for example, if you take consonants, you will find that in the line, this is my son, my own Telemachus. Here in this line, the repetition of the consonant sound N found. Anotherly, if you take alliteration, as example, the sound of the F in the line free hearts, free foreheads, etc. etc. The use of enjambment also found in the text, and actually there is no breakage. There is no breakage at the end of the very line break. Basically, the shift of the thought jumped over the next line, and this grey spirit earnings in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star. In this line, there is no line break in the text, in the use of the lines. In this way, so many important literary devices used by Tennyson in order to focus his own feelings and passion to give the message of the text. On the other hand, we must say that so many poetic devices used in the text by Tennyson. They are dramatic monologue, and number two, are important literary devices used by Tennyson in the text, in the blank verse, soliloquy. On the other hand, very much important and attractive term, crisis lyric. All of us very much aware of the term dramatic monologue and free verse or blank verse here in the text. But to say about the crisis lyric, this is very much romantic literary figure used basically in the era of the Romantic revival. Here, in which lyric actually the crisis of the spokesman or speaker actually is exposed out. Here, the crisis of the life due to the old age has been focused over the body of Ulysses and mind of the Ulysses. So, this is the crisis lyric in the text. These are the poetic devices. I repeat, dramatic monologue, blank verse, soliloquy. Soliloquy where we find at the very first section of the text where the speaker Ulysses is presenting himself in front of the audiences or readers here. This is in the form of soliloquy. Just mind it. So in the next zone, I would focus two important modern approaches. We have to operate the text in modern approaches, and if we deep in the text, we will find that there are two important modern approaches. They are archetypal approaches, and number two, biographical historical approaches. If you go deep into the text, you will find that the archetypal approach actually is used to discover the existence of understanding or undertaking mythological pattern of the figure Ulysses. We know well that here the Ulysses is a very much figure from the mythological pattern. So in this sense, we must say that this is the approach of the archetypal approach. And number two, historical biographical approach. It is used basically to study the life of Tennyson also. Why? Because actually, since the Tennyson has himself said that he had written the text actually in the loss of his well gifted or a dear college friend Arthur Henry Hallam. So there you find the actual exposure of his own personal feelings and passions. So this biographical phenomena has been reflected in the text Ulysses. This is very much historical and biographical approach of the text. So this is the discussion about the critical evaluation and gradual development of the thought with so many important genre or sections of the text Ulysses. Try to understand, listen repeatedly, again and again, and try to understand and make a sense. Thank you. Well.